work with Inns of Alabama in the security area. And you'll also see Steve Jarrett there. You've probably seen him on TV many times. He was the ALEA spokesperson for the state. He's now retired and is committed to working with us. This is just a picture of Clearview Ranch. For years, since 1996, when we bought it, it's operated in the area of agricultural processing work. It's currently row cropped, but for many years it was a cattle farm. Sandy Hill Farms, a guy named Donnie Davis was there. Then David Garrett took it over for many years, and then for the last 7 years it's been row cropped with out of the Long family out of Russell County. They do a great job. This is an overview of our firm. I just want to go over that because I think the people behind this group is important to let you know a little bit about what we've done. My firm has been involved in litigation involving drugs that were harmful to people. In particular, my firm currently represents the state of Alabama and the state of Georgia in the opioid epidemic. We are trying to recover compensatory damages caused to the state by this horrible drug. And so we have firsthand knowledge and experience of the damage that can be caused by a poorly regulated drug industry. I was watching CNN Monday, and I understand that the current death toll from opioids is 1 million or in that range, and that there's still 7 million people in this country that are suffering from opioid use disorder. And I'm pleased to read some of the articles about the potential for medical cannabis to help alleviate some of these issues. Fentanyl. Fentanyl is now the leading cause of death for persons between the ages of 25 and 45. Something's got to be done about that, and hopefully medical cannabis will be one of the answers. We've also been involved in the litigation against Juul, which is a vaping system that was promoted and started by the tobacco companies to help try to cause addiction for younger people. We were involved in that litigation. Jerry has been involved in the talc litigation, and he was the leader, and first big verdict in that case was with Jerry Beasley. When I started working with Jerry, he told me to keep some priorities in place, and this is what we're going to do with Inside Alabama. Faith, family, law practice. We will continue with that type of priority, and we will try to make things happen very well for this company. We pride ourselves at the firm that we have a diverse group of people working for us. Diversity brings strength, and we're going to continue that with Inns of Alabama. Now, we've given back to the community millions of dollars. Jerry and I own the property there on Commerce Street where our office is located. And a few years ago, we gave a building on Commerce to the Alabama State University. They now use it for their office building. And I'm proud of what we've done. We've also got experience in development. We, several years ago, decided to help the development of downtown, and so we started the Alley Station project, which has been very successful. But when we got into that, we were about midway through in 2008 when the market collapsed, but we went ahead and continued. We were committed, and we got it done. I want to introduce you to Jerry Beasley and then let him say just a few words.
Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, I'm not going to say a great deal. Greg has pretty well laid it out. When we started our law practice a long time ago in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, things were quite different. You had all the juries, all white, all men. Over the years, things have progressively gotten better in this state. And we believe that we've been a part of the reasons for that. Greg mentioned priorities in the law firm. I want you to look carefully at our law firm because you're going to see there a reflection of what we're going to do with this new project. I learned years ago, in fact, my mama told me something in Barber County when I was a kid. Said, if you lay down with dogs that got fleas, you're going to get up scratching. And I've thought about that a lot over the years. And that's why we were so careful in selecting our partner to come into this particular project with us in Southern Massachusetts. There's also another thing about our firm, and I want you to compare how we operate and what we've accomplished to what we intend to do here. First of all, I tell all of our lawyers when they come to work with us, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to do it for the right reason. And if you can't follow that, you don't need to be here. And it's very simple. Greg mentioned the Johnson & Johnson litigation. Our firm has brought about significant changes in a number of areas all over the country. This is one that ought to shock anybody who has a female in their household. Johnson & Johnson, as far back as 1976, I'm going to paraphrase a memo that came from their medical group to the CEO of Johnson & Johnson, said the studies so far are against us, causing ovarian cancer, with more to come, and we expect them to get worse. Said, unless we start telling the truth to the government and to the public, we're going to be considered like the cigarette folks. I had no idea when we first were contacted by a doctor in Mississippi and asked us to get involved in the litigation. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, talcum powder, baby powder, ovarian cancer? We filed the suit and we got the discovery and we started getting documents, including the one I just paraphrased to you. We tried the first case in Missouri years ago. Progressively over the years, we've had more and more litigation that we've been involved in. Today, the government didn't do it. Johnson & Johnson was forced to take off the market the talcum powder that's killed hundreds of thousands of women all over this country. Now, I say that for this reason. We got into this project for a purpose. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to do it for the right reason. We've assembled a team that, in my opinion, is a good team. I'm sure there are others that have good teams. But we're going to do it just like we run our law firm. I remember when we decided to put our firm into sections, in litigation sections, where each section got very good at what they did, and their people developed expertise. That's what we're doing here. We're bringing in the people that know how to do it, and we're doing it for the right reason. Now, I understand that we were first and you voted the first time, and I sincerely hope that you'll consider us again, and we believe that we've improved on actually where we were then, and we're ready to go. I'm going to introduce you to Kendall Dunson, who, like me, Kendall married a woman who's outstanding. Yesterday, I understand, was voted, what was it, Kendall?
Person of the Year for
Person of the Year for the YMCA. And she comes from a Montgomery family that has roots here. And Kendall is a law partner in our firm, one of the best product liability lawyers in the entire country. In fact, I've never seen anybody his equal, and he is a part of this team, and not just a token member, he is a member. And I'll let Kendall say a few words. Thank you very much.
To the Chairman of the Commission, thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today. I've been at Beasley Allen since 1998. I'm originally from Georgia. I've been in Alabama since 1993. So I joined Beasley Allen and have had a good amount of success. And one of the good things about Beasley Allen is they don't just focus on what you do inside the courtroom. They give you the opportunity, they push you, they prepare you, they encourage you to get involved in your community and to do things to help people. One of the things I love about the firm is the ability to influence safety. And my biggest accomplishments are not verdicts, but decisions and cases that have led to increased safety. One of the things I'm most proud about are cases I've dealt with where people who hadn't even met me don't understand that the cases that we handle has improved their safety. I truly believe that we have a good team. I have all the faith in the world in Greg Allen and Mr. Beasley and the people that they've hired to bring this product safely to the people of this state. And I hope you will stay with your first decision and keep us as number one or as one of the recipients of a license. Thank you so much for your time.
We've got a list of community involvement, which I've already discussed with you. I want to talk a little bit about the INSA. After we had talked to them about what we were going to do and learned a little bit about them, Philip Pouncey and I flew up to Massachusetts and spent a couple of days touring their facilities, and I was very, very impressed. Steve Riley gave us a tour and spent a lot of time with us, and I called Jerry and I said, these are the folks that we need to do business with. Steve, can you say a few words?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name's Steve Riley. I'm an owner of INSA and general counsel for INSA. We apologize for sending so many lawyers up here to talk to you, but we try not to do that too often. But I want to give you just a little bit of background on our company. I helped start the company 10 years ago in Massachusetts. We began as a medical operator in the state. We were fortunate enough to expand our footprint in that state to the maximum capacity there. We have 5 dispensaries that we now operate there, along with a grow that's about 100,000 square feet. We've been committed to cannabis and the medical use of cannabis and have reinvested everything we've been able to do in Massachusetts back into the business. And we now operate in Pennsylvania as a medical grower processor, in Florida as a medical grower processor and dispenser, and in Ohio as a medical dispenser. We've operated compliantly in all those locations without any fines or incidents. We're confident that we can do the same thing here in Alabama. We're very excited to work with Clearview on a project here. We believe that we can bring good, safe cannabis products to the Alabama market quickly and compliantly. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all and meet you today. Thank you.
One thing that Steve didn't mention, but it's in the PowerPoint, the amount of money they've given back to charitable organizations in their communities up there is over $7 million. So they are of the same mindset as we are. We talked a little bit about our medical advisory board, Dr. Herrick, Dr. Ryan, neurosurgeon, and Dr. Miller, neurologist here in town. So they will be helping us with the work that we're doing. We also have already talked about our security team, and we have a commitment of capital for this project, and we will not have to be borrowing it from the bank. We are committed to, we've got the money set aside in reserve that when we need it, we will use it, we will spend it when necessary. This again is a picture of the facility, and I just want to point out to you that facility is owned by us. Jerry Beasley and I own a company called 130 Commerce, which is the same as the Alley Station Group. We purchased this thing, this building, for $1.5 million, and it is set up and ready to go. We've got 2 of the containers that I heard mentioned a little while ago. They are in the building. They're operational today. We can start growing immediately. They're $100,000 each. We've got them in the building, and that's just part of phase 1. That's just the temporary part. Phase 1 is what we're working on right now, and that would include things like just redoing all the bathrooms in the building for handicap accessibility, changing lights, insulation. We've got the security system is in except for the cameras. All the electronics are there. We got 25 cameras that have come in. They will be put up when necessary. We've got a security fence all the way around, 2 acres. We've got plenty of room for expansion if we need it, but the security fence is already in. We're ready to grow. We're ready to go. Phase 2 will be building out the dispensary, and Phase 3 will be the expansion inside the building for additional cultivation and production. We got a commitment to research. Fortunately, INSA has an ongoing relationship with Yale University for cannabis research and grow generation. We have recently entered into an MSO with VCOM. VCOM is several medical schools around the country, one of which is the new medical school at Auburn. And we're going to be working with them. And I've talked to Dr. Guntar Brawlinson. He's committed to working with us to do continued research. They're already doing cannabis research in other states. And he's an impressive fellow, vice president of research for those group of medical schools. He's also the team physician for the U.S. ski team and Virginia Tech. We are proud to say that we submitted our application ahead of time, and we complied with the 10 meg rule and did everything we were supposed to do, and are proud of that. We're ready to grow, and we want to serve the people of Alabama, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Any commission member have a question for the group of INSA? I know we've got some questions. Anybody online? Dr. Blakemore, you still there? You got any questions? Dr. Jensen.
Yes. Did you, I didn't hear if you mentioned whether you would have pharmacists at each of your dispensaries?
We will, but
We will on site, and we will on site, and we have a list of certified dispensers that includes pharmacists, and they're set forth in the application.
Okay, thank you. And as far as the timeline, it sounds like you're pretty ready to go with the cultivation part. How about processing?
that's part. That will be part of the build out.
I know, but when do you expect that to?
Well,
6 months, or
as soon as we get to know that we have this license, Philip is here, and we are ready to get it done. And again, we can grow with what we have right now.
right? And then as far as the dispensaries, I know you did this application way long time ago, but you've got like a year to get these up. Is that still your time frame?
Oh yes, sir. That won't be a problem.
Well, a year is very long. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, we can. We can get it done within that time or earlier. We're going to start immediately as soon as. Obviously, when we know we got the license.
I think
Right, but a lot of people have said, "Oh, we can easily get those done in 6 months." And
I think he's asking Mr. Allen if you can have a dispensary ready before 365 days.
yeah.
We can.
That's it.
This is the man right here. Again, we've got experts. I'm not the builder.
What's his answer?
But this is Phil.
Dispensary to be ready within 90 days.
90 days.
Okay, that answers that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have a question for INSA?
Hey, Chairman.
Yes, Dr. Blakemore.
Hey, Chairman. I heard you earlier regarding dispensaries. What do you guys expect your initial patient volume to be, and then what do you guys expect to look initially, what your monthly gross revenues will look like?
I don't have the detailed business plan in front of me from the application. I think a lot of that's going to depend upon the licensing of actual patients to be able to purchase in the dispensaries. We've got enough liquid cash and assets to be able to carry us through until we have a volume of patients to be able to make the business profitable. So we're confident that we'll be able to do that.
Gotcha. I initially, the first review of y'all's application, I was one of the initial reviewers. Looked like you guys had great cash on hand. Is that all just straight cash, or is some of it financed?
That's all cash. There's no debt financing in that number with cash, and we have additional pledges both from INSA and the individuals from Clearview that actually exceed that cash amount.
And do you have an idea of what you expect the cost to be?
About $15 million.
No, I'm sorry, for the patient.
For the patient, for the product?
Product.
Yes.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that will depend on how the market actually develops and what the type of product is. So if you're talking about like a low THC suppository, it'll depend on what the milligram dosages are. But we would probably have a range from say $20 to $50. That would typically be what it is in
That
other
what
states.
it is in Massachusetts, or?
I would say that's probably a fair number for what it is, taking a look at the other states that we're in.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have a question for INSA?
Yes, will you be processing at Clearview? Clearview Ranch, will that be where your processing facility is located? And then what type of processing will you be
I think it'll
utilizing?
be at Perimeter Parkway.
Yeah, it'll be at Perimeter Parkway, and as
Okay.
Greg had said earlier, so we've got the ability to grow immediately, and then the other part of that phase one is actually building out the processing piece of that. So,
Okay.
so that we can basically get distillate to make the products that we need, like the suppositories I mentioned.
What type processing, just curious, that will you be using? We've had, in previous applicants last week, they were telling us about the different types of processing, just curious as to what type you'll use.
We have hydrocarbon, I believe, is in the application that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
These applications begin to run together.
Yeah, there's only 38 of them.
Anyone else have a question for INSA? Thank all you gentlemen for coming today. Impressive presentation. Thank you for your time. Our commission will take about a 10-minute break, and if Jim Stone of Alabama is here, we will have that one earlier than what is on the schedule. It was scheduled for 3:15, but we have had a withdrawal from a presentation. So if Jim Stone is here in about 10 minutes, you can go ahead. If not, we will wait till they arrive. So let's take a short break. I presume y'all are, the next one, the Gemstone group. They've got a big group now. An army. All right. Before y'all step up here, I'm going to have Mr. Justin Ade make a few comments about one of our applicants that decided not to make a presentation at the last minute, Alacan and LLC, applicant number 1630. So, Justin, whatever you need to mention about that one, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Applicant number 1630, Alacan LLC, was originally scheduled for today and contacted us and notified us that they were not going to be able to make the presentation, but they are not withdrawing their application, so their application is still subject to be considered. You have their full application, the applicant's summary, and there were no pass-fail items identified in the application.
Thank you, Justin. You're going to wait till after Gemstone goes to mention all the other ones?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go. We're still early, but is Gemstone ready to go? Okay, before y'all take the podium, I'll ask Justin to make a few remarks pertaining to your application for the benefit of our commission members. Justin?
All right, this is applicant number 1640, Gemstone, Alabama, LLC. You have their complete application. There were pass-fail items noted in their application. They were provided a pass-fail show cause notice, and they provided a response to that, and that is in your materials. They also the applicant also provided a brief in support of its application. That's included in your materials as well.
Thank you, Justin. First off, thank all of you for being willing to come earlier than normal. I know we were scheduled for 3:15, but if y'all are prepared to go ahead and present, we can do that. And thank you for accommodating our schedule, because I know you weren't planning on it. But watch the computer up here. Ms. Peters will have the allotted time of 45 minutes. So just kind of keep track of that as you're progressing through your presentation. You have the floor, and kind of whatever team members are speaking today, introduce each one.
Of course.
Thank you. Go ahead. Y'all have the floor.
Mr. Chairman and Commission members, thank you very much for the opportunity to be before you. My name is Wilson Green, and it's my distinct privilege to introduce you today to Gemstone, Alabama, LLC. And you're probably wondering first why Gemstone asked its lawyer to start. My involvement with Gemstone is something I kind of consider a matter of providence. I have a son who is severely disabled, has been living at the facility here in Montgomery that used to be known as Father Walters. It's now known as Montgomery Children's Specialty Center since he was 6 years old, and he's now 22. And he suffers from severe seizures among his other his medical situation. And I will tell you, as a caregiver, that medical cannabinoids are the only thing that have been effective in treating and maintaining his seizure activity at a level that will not be self-injurious. So I want to thank you for what you're doing. This is important work, and what you're doing is taking monumental efforts, and so thank you for what you're doing. I also want to thank you, frankly, for your leadership that you've shown in the last 9 months. You've had to make some hard decisions, and you've had to have some slings and arrows thrown at you, a lot of them unfair, and I want you to know that what you've done is exercise leadership, and that's self-sacrificial leadership. And I think every person, certainly on our team, and I think the Alabamians at large, appreciate the fact that you're making decisions for the betterment of the cause and for the betterment of the process. So thank you for what you've done. So who's Gemstone and what do we stand for? You need to know who we are, why we're different, and why, frankly, we're uniquely suited to be awarded an integrated license. And over these next days, I think you're going to be hearing a lot of presentations, and you've heard a lot today. And I think you're going to conclude that we're sort of a unicorn. We're one of a kind. You're going to hear a lot of people on our team talk to you today. Every one of them is an Alabamian to a person. Gemstone's story began 20 years ago when its main owner, Nell Maisel of Mobile, was diagnosed with MS. The Maisels, as you might know, are pillars of the Mobile community. Because of her personal experience in dealing with her chronic illness, she began to be interested in investing in the medical cannabis space. She started with a dispensary in California, then bought dispensaries in Colorado, then in Louisiana, and most recently in 2021 was awarded an integrated license to operate in the state of Florida, in the Flowery. And so she's never been denied a license. She's never sold a license. And the integrated license she got in Florida and her team got in Florida is exactly the kind of integrated license that we are here standing before you applying for today. Our operations experience is frankly unparalleled. Nell's an owner in 12 dispensary operations across 4 states, including the Florida operations through the Flowery. The Flowery alone in the last 2 years has served over 200,000 patients, 2.5 times more patients per dispensary than other Florida operators because of the quality of the product we produce. Our minority partner owns another 21 of its own dispensaries in 4 other states. So together, we have a total patient base of over 600,000 patients across 33 dispensaries in 8 states. So that's the first thing that makes Gemstone unique among any other applicants in this pack. It's not only Alabama owned, it's Alabama operated, with an applicant who has been awarded an integrated license in another state and is operating successfully in that state. And I believe that has real-world impact for this commission, because unlike anyone else you're going to hear from, or almost anyone else in this process, we don't have a management agreement with an out-of-state operator. We are the management. The ownership is the management. Well, not only is Alabama owned and Alabama operated, Gemstone's also Alabama regulated. Nell's husband, Elliot Maisel, owns Gulf Distributing in Mobile, which is, you might know, is the largest beer distributorship in Alabama, probably the largest taxpayer in Alabama, too, remitting to ADOR. Our cultivation team has collectively been regulated by the state agriculture department for over 250 years, and Elliot's operation at Gulf has been regulated by the state for over 50 years. So we've got over 300 years of collective regulation by Alabama state regulators. So we're Alabama owned, we're Alabama operated, we're Alabama regulated. We're over 70% Alabama owned, capitalized than any other integrated applicant, bar none. And then there's the crowning gem, and it's our research and innovation partner in Tuskegee University. And they're not just an academic partner, they're an equity owner in the business. So I want to introduce you to the Gemstone team, and you're going to hear from each of them. First, you'll hear from Ms. Maisel, who is really the passion and the centerpiece of our ownership team and our business. Then you'll hear from our partners at Tuskegee, Crystal James, the general counsel, and particularly for today, the special assistant to the president for health equity, as well as Philip Howard, who's the vice president of advancement. Rashawn Figures, a name in Alabama circles you probably don't need any introduction to. Jay Watkins from Mobile, who will talk to you about our financial and tax model. Tommy Paulk and our other cultivator team members, Emily Pauley and Jessica Dyson from our pharmaceutical and dispensing team, and then our COO, Brett Terry. And then finally, you're gonna see our video, a portion of our video, which is not some CGI computer-generated model. It's an actual integrated operating facility that we run at the Flowery in Florida. So you see what an actual facility looks like in operation. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nell. Thank you.
I have a few notes so I won't forget anything. But I'm Nell Maisel. Oh, sure, yeah. So, I'm Nell Maisel. I'm born and raised in Alabama, educated in the public school system in Mobile, went to the University of Alabama, UAB for college, have a bachelor's degree in nursing, and I've been married to my husband for 44 years, and we have 3 children and 8 grandchildren, all under the age of 5.5. But I'm still standing, so my back hurts, though. Anyway, we just thank you for this opportunity to present to you today, and I am so proud of the team that I have working with me, made up mostly of Alabamians. They have expertise in business, pharmacology, research, education, medicine, finance, agriculture, law. They are amazing, and you will get to meet each one of them shortly. But cannabis interested me originally because, as being a nurse, I care about helping people. I worked at the Mobile Infirmary in Mobile for years, and had worked there in summer before I got my degree. I'd worked there and saw what was going on, and that's when I decided I wanted to be a nurse. But then, as you heard, about 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I'm being treated at a doctor in Birmingham, and I take medication, and everything is under control. So hopefully that continues. So I feel really fortunate to be, because there's so many different kinds of multiple sclerosis. But anyway, so those are the reasons I became interested in the cannabis product, because I've done a lot of reading, and it helps people, and that's what I care about, especially in my home state of Alabama. It's all about our community in Alabama. And like you know, the team is 70% Alabamians, and that's what we care about the most. But anyway, we are loyal to our state, and Gemstone will be a driving force. We will make you proud. We will enforce safety and security in our business model, and we just care about our community. So thank you so much, and enjoy listening to this amazing team. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I bring you greetings on behalf of Tuskegee University's 9th president, Dr. Charlotte Morris. And I think it's important to provide some highlights from Tuskegee University's history that frame my involvement for today's proceedings. Tuskegee University is one of the nation's most prestigious historically Black college or universities, strategically located in Tuskegee, Alabama, currently ranked number 4 among all HBCUs. It's a global leader in the education of African Americans who aspire to contribute and uplift every aspect of society. Tuskegee is dedicated to academic excellence in research, science, medicine, engineering, agriculture, agribusiness, and with a distinct focus on students' intellectual, creative, and leadership development. Through intense quantitative and qualitative research, creative learning modalities, strong community, industry, and governmental relationship, Tuskegee empowers the whole person, head, heart, and hand. As my fellow colleagues come before you today, you will hear a common theme of leading the way, setting and maintaining standards, and collaborative work. Known as the pride of the swift-growing South, TU has been an Alabama institution for 142 years. Its mission is to improve the lives of Alabamians, and here are some examples. Tuskegee University was established on July 4th, 1881, with Alabama House Bill 165 was passed for the establishment of a Negro normal school in Tuskegee, Alabama. There was no land, no buildings, no teachers, only the state legislation authorizing the school. However, our first principal, Booker T. Washington, the highly skilled organizer and fundraiser, counselor to American presidents, and strong advocate for Negro businesses, was a visionary who laid the foundation for the development of educational K-12 institutions throughout the state, catalyzing growth that's amazing by bringing together a strong team of leaders in their respective fields. The beautiful campus that you see before you today is only a portion of what is now over 5,000 acres of campus. When the words research and Tuskegee University are mentioned in the same sentence, many individuals outside the university's Lincoln gates think of the important research conducted by Dr. George Washington Carver. Our College of Agriculture, Environment, and Nutritional Sciences is the house that Carver built, and it continues to set the standard for share these important discoveries with farmers throughout the state of Alabama and the world through the work of our cooperative extension programs and the annual Farmers Conference held in the state of Alabama each year, sharing new technologies and assisting farmers in our great state to overcome crop challenges for decades. As medicine has evolved over time, Tuskegee University has been there to lead the way, advancing opportunities for Alabamians to benefit first. The attention recently paid to the story of Henrietta Lacks and our HeLa cell line following the publication of our highly acclaimed book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, has highlighted the numerous scientific discoveries directly attributable to research utilizing the cell line. While polio patients from across the Southeast were being ushered through essential treatment and rehabilitation programs at the Tuskegee Infantile Paralysis Center across campus, Tuskegee scientists were conducting outstanding research in the Carver Research Building. This building was partially constructed from the life savings of Dr. Carver, and is the current home of the Tuskegee Health Disparities Diagnostic Center, which provides free COVID-19 testing to our communities today. From the past to the present, Tuskegee University, through its many academic and research centers of excellence, continue to innovate for the improvement of health outcomes for the communities of the state of Alabama that we are mission-bound to serve. We were the first Alabama institution to open an on-med care station to assist in providing access to health care to rural areas of our state. We have a demonstrated history in public and private partnerships that assist in translating research findings into cutting-edge services to areas of this state that many times remain underserved. Centering on the One Health approach, which anchors at the intersection of human health, animal health, and the environment. Scientists from across the academic enterprise come together to make sure that our work benefits the head, the heart, and the hands of our constituents. Home to the only presidentially mandated Center for Bioethics in Research and Healthcare, Tuskegee University is a trusted and trustworthy source of information on participation in clinical research and trusted by Black, Indigenous people of color and their communities to provide information regarding new therapeutics and medicinal treatments throughout the world. As medical cannabis becomes more readily available, Tuskegee University serves as a trustworthy partner to increase utilization of these products and therapies. We also provide leadership and research on varietal screening, structural and physical chemical properties of cannabis, biomass by looking at the impact of cultural practices and fertilizer inputs on the bioavailability and the concentration of THC, as well as cannabinoids. These are just a few of the research enterprises that we already have on board in our research centers on campus. In my role as Special Assistant to the President for Health Equity Programs, I have the distinct pleasure of working with mission-led faculty and staff that have committed their time and talents to increasing the quality of life for Alabama residents. As Principal Investigator for the newly created Center for Rural, Maternal, Child, and Family Equity, I'm excited to investigate potential uses of cannabis in treating postpartum depression in non-breastfeeding mothers. I would like to end my time with you by saying for the record that Tuskegee University was approached by many of the groups that you will hear from this week to partner on this exciting opportunity to increase access to medical cannabis to the citizens of Alabama. Regardless of what you may have heard from any other groups presenting to you today, no other company has an active valid articulation agreement to conduct research with Tuskegee University. Thank you for your time and attention today, and I welcome any questions that you may have at the end of this team's presentation.
Hello to all. My name is Rashawn Figures. I'm an owner and equity partner on the Gemstone team. I live in Mobile, Alabama, and I'm a lifelong resident of the state of Alabama. My family's relationship with the Maizels go back at least 5 decades. In that time, our families have known each other. When Nell Maizell tells you that she's going to do something, consider it done. And it will be done with the class and utmost integrity that you could ever expect. For most of the applicants, this is just about business, but for me, it's a little bit different. I have watched a mother have to look at her son slowly die from leukemia, and she was helpless to do anything about the pain. My brother Ramar Figures died over 20 years ago, at a time when the laws and the policies of the country and the state did not acknowledge the medicinal value of marijuana. That look of helplessness that my mother had watching my brother's demise, there are remnants that are permanently etched in her face. And anyone that knows a mother that has lost a child knows that look. So for me, this is not just about the money and the business. It's about the opportunity to potentially ease that look on another mother's face. This morning, I was thinking about what I would say to this panel. So I got up early, as my father taught me years ago, and went down and got a terrible cup of coffee from the lobby of the hotel. I sat next to a man who was up early, and he was working on something just like me. We struck up a conversation, and it turns out he was from the state of Alabama, just like me. He went to the University of Alabama, just like me. He went back home after college, just like me. His father introduced him to the construction industry, just like mine had. He grew his family company just like me. Turns out he had 4 kids, just like me. After this unique encounter, it dawned on me that my team, we're just like you. We want the best for our communities. We want to make a difference where we can, and we want to pioneer this industry in the most responsible and effective manner possible, just like you. Because of this compatible mission, and because our team's experience, track record, and our commitment to ensuring that this team is a reflection of the very community in which it seeks to operate, Gemstone is the Alabama team that is most qualified. Since day one of this journey, Ms. Maizell, our majority owner, has made it abundantly clear that she thanks the other states that have given her the opportunity and this team the opportunity to gain medical marijuana license in their state and operate successfully. But this was different. This time was different. I didn't understand that at first, what she meant at the beginning of this process, but now I do. She was saying to our team that this is home, and we have to bring our best to a state where we live, work, play, and have chosen to raise our families. So that is what we pledge to you today. Gemstone pledges our best. Now, I'm a country boy from Mobile, Alabama, and I want to talk plainly to you for a second. When people from Alabama want to grow something, they don't call somebody from New York City. New York City calls us. I sit on many boards in Mobile, Alabama, and I know sometimes you get overwhelmed with things and they throw a lot of numbers and statistics at you. But if you don't hear anything that I say today, I want you to hear this. Emily Pauley, co-director of research. Jessica Dyson, director of retail operations. Brett Terry, our COO. John Williams, owner. Brandon and Lyle Stokely, first and second generation growers, owners. Tuskegee University, owner, 132 years worth of experience and dedication to this state. Tommy Polk, owner. Nell Maizell, majority owner. They're Alabama residents, just like me. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Jay Watkins. My wife, Alyssa, and I are owners of an interest in Gemstone, Alabama. We live in Mobile, where I have practiced law for the past 30 years. Since 2009, I've been a managing shareholder for the Maynard Cooper firm, now Maynard Nexon, practicing primarily in the corporate transaction and finance area. For more than 8 years, I've represented the Maisel family in most all of their business endeavors, including working with Ms. Nell Maisel in connection with her investment in the medical cannabis space in Florida, Louisiana, Colorado, and California. This afternoon, I've been asked to speak with you briefly about the regulatory compliance aspects and the financial strength of our team. As you've heard, Mrs. Maisel's husband and his family own one of the largest wholesale beer distributors in the Southeast United States. Over the years of representing the family, I've gained invaluable knowledge of how to work within the regulatory scheme and framework for these highly regulated industries. The regulatory and tax structures established for the medical cannabis space in Alabama is very similar to those for the wholesale beer distribution. We also know, probably more importantly to the state of Alabama than anything else, the Maisel family's operations have been unblemished with respect to compliance with the regulations, but also with tax compliance. The wholesale beer industry remits a tremendous amount of tax to the state every year, and they are audited and they have to report. And we do that, take that very seriously, and it's done without fail and has not been a problem in any aspect whatsoever. The level of experience and history of compliance should provide this commission significant confidence that the Gemstone team, led by Ms. Maisel, will be a strong operator of an integrated facility and be a valuable partner to the state of Alabama with respect to tax collection and remittance. Another important aspect that this commission is to consider when awarding an integrated license is the financial strength of the applicant. I feel very confident in saying that the Gemstone team is likely one of the strongest, if not the strongest, applicant for an integrated license from a financial perspective. This team exceeds the regulatory cash requirements by a factor of 4. Additionally, the combined net worth of the applicants of this team exceeds $750 million. The Gemstone investors are also business people. They understand what it takes to start a business. They understand that there has to be investment made in the initial stages to make a business successful. As I expect each of you are aware, obtaining traditional bank financing in the cannabis space is nearly impossible. Banks just won't lend to a cannabis operator given the federal law structure right now. As a result, the investors in this organization are ready and willing and especially able to provide the cash necessary to start this business and to grow this business to success. But as a backstop, as noted in our application, one of our minority partners has provided Gemstone, Alabama, a $30 million revolving line of credit, which will be used as working capital to help establish this operation in the state of Alabama. Having this facility available gives Gemstone the ability to successfully bring medical marijuana products to patients in Alabama within the time parameters established under your regulations. In closing, the Gemstone team's financial strength, experience in operating in heavily regulated and taxed industries, and its track record of operations in the medical cannabis field in other jurisdictions make it a perfect candidate for an integrated license. We hope you all will agree the Gemstone team and Ms. Maisel presents an Alabama company this commission can trust with an integrated license and can have confidence that it will be successful in implementing its operations. I appreciate your time and will welcome questions at the end of our presentation.
I'm Tommy Paul. With me here are Jim Williams, John Williams of Tom Dodd Nursery, Brandon and Lyle Stokely of Stokely Nursery, both Mobile County. I grew up in the agriculture business. My grandparents owned Bonnie Plants, and I assumed leadership of that company as an adult. I later became the CEO of Alabama Farmers Cooperative, the parent company of Bonnie Plants. I am a lifelong Alabamian, like these gentlemen with me. I'm excited about the rollout of medical cannabis in Alabama. We've needed this for a long time. Like many of you, I've had family members suffer in the latter stages of cancer or other medical conditions where treatment with medical cannabis could have drastically improved the quality of their lives. And I thank you for your work in now making this a coming reality for Alabamians. I'm equally excited about the team we've put together here at Gemstone. We have what, in my judgment, is the perfect combination of Alabama roots, extensive agricultural experience, plentiful financial backing, and operational know-how in the medical cannabis industry. I spent my career growing agricultural plants, like tomato plants, for instance, for sale all over the country. What's different about growing medical cannabis, however, is that you're literally growing medicine. That requires particular attention to the details in growing techniques and growing processes. It also requires partnerships with other cultivators. And if that need arises, we are uniquely positioned to partner with multiple cultivators because between John Williams, the Stokelys, and me, we have over 250 years of combined experience in Alabama agriculture. So we know most everyone out there. And thanks in large part to the high regard in which these three gentlemen are held by their peers in our industry, most everyone out there knows us. You can be assured we won't have a problem working with the other cultivators to whom this commission has already seen fit to grant a license. Again, I want to thank this commission for your work and for giving us this opportunity. I'll stop and let Lyle, Brandon, and John introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. I'm Lyle Stokely. I'm owner of the Stokely Nursery. I'm a lifetime resident, born in Mobile County. I have two sons. I have a wife of 47 years, and I'm going to introduce my son, Brandon, now. Thank y'all.
I'm Brandon Stokely, lifelong resident of Alabama. I graduated high school from Faith Academy in 1999, moved on to Auburn, and received a degree in horticulture and a minor in foreign language. Graduated in 2004 and been at the family farm ever since.
I'm John Williams, Alabama resident, lifetime. I own and operate Tom Dodd Nursery. It's a 300-acre facility in Sims, Alabama. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Dyson, the Director of Retail Operations for Gemstone. I grew up in Alabaster and still currently live in Alabaster and raise a family there. I graduated from Samford University and got my doctorate in pharmacy. I've been managing pharmacies in the state of Alabama for almost 18 years. I'm excited about the opportunity our team has. Our pharmacy operations experience can assist patients in ensuring that their medical needs from the qualifying conditions will be met. The opportunity to introduce medical cannabis to my state is exciting. Helping patients, including my family and friends, treat those conditions with safe, effective treatments is vital. That said, my main focus is supervising retail operations to ensure our team of pharmacists is following established protocols and ensuring patient safety while meeting their needs.
I'm Emily Pauley, Chief Research Officer for Radical Science and Co-Director of Research for Gemstone. I'm a native Alabamian, an Auburn graduate, and a doctoral level pharmacist. I work remotely and could live anywhere in the United States. I choose to live and work in my hometown of Huntsville, Alabama. I've been an adjunct professor of pharmacy practice at Auburn and was the first full-time employee at Hudson Alpha, serving as a research scientist and working in conjunction with the founders, Jim Hudson and the late Lonnie McMillan and Mark Smith, to get the Huntsville campus built, outfitted for state-of-the-art research, and get their science started. You heard Nell talk about our plans for patient care and clinical trials with Gemstone, overseen by Radical Science and in partnership with Tuskegee University. Medical cannabis is going to revolutionize healthcare over the next 10 to 15 years. Unfortunately, there's not extensive research on cannabis in a clinical setting, leaving medical professionals, including pharmacists and physicians, with inadequate scientific data for appropriately evaluating and selecting medical cannabis treatment. Over the last 2.5 years, I have conducted 100% direct-to-consumer studies on over 40,000 participants across the United States, half of which were on cannabinoid products. Unlike conventional trials, my trials have represented a broad-based cross-section of U.S. consumers that are interested in cannabinoids for a range of health issues. During this time, I've optimized engagement while maintaining gold standard methodologies to provide valid, data-driven conclusion. I look forward to bringing the expertise of Radical Science, Gemstone, and Tuskegee University together to help healthcare professionals in Alabama make informed, science-backed decision for the medical treatment with cannabis. This is where Gemstone is uniquely positioned before this commission. Our partnership across these 3 Alabama organizations will give Alabama medical professionals unparalleled access to ongoing research and educational advancements. It will also give Alabama patients that same access, and in the end, will dramatically enhance patient care.
Hi, thank you for having us today. They saved me towards the end because they know when it comes to medical cannabis, once I get going, it kind of becomes hard for me to stop. I get a little bit excited about this stuff. My name is Brett Terry. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Gemstone, Alabama. I'm an Alabama native. I graduated from Thompson High School and the University of Montevallo. I've been in the medical cannabis business for 13 years, starting in Colorado in 2010, then California, as well as Florida with our operations at the Flowery. I've seen firsthand the power of medical cannabis by providing this medicine to thousands of patients. I'm extremely excited to play a small part in bringing medical cannabis to my home state of Alabama. As a matter of fact, my sister, Jessica Dyson, is also on our team, and I'm extremely excited about getting the opportunity to work with her. I want to take another moment really quickly just to highlight a few of the aspects of our operations that are unique to us. First is processing. We can do both solvent-based processing and solventless processing. We have extensive experience bringing both solventless and solvent-based process-based medical cannabis products to market safely and effectively, and quickly for that matter. Second, I want to talk a little about our security. I personally have been involved with this team's security for over 5 years, and our security protocols are some of the best in the business. Security incidents are minimized because we commit substantial labor and capital to our security efforts, specifically by utilizing the latest and newest technology in our security operations. Third, I want to talk a little bit about our compliance. Among other things specific to Alabama's medical cannabis law, we are extremely experienced and well-versed in METRIC, the seed-to-sale tracking system the Commission has chosen. I have been using the METRIC program since their first ever training class in Colorado in 2014. I use this program every day. I would like to commend the Commission for choosing METRIC. They are simply the best I have ever seen. Fourth, I want to talk a little bit about our partnerships. Bringing medical cannabis to market effectively in Alabama is going to require a team effort across license classes. That's why we have already discussed collaborations with multiple cultivators, processors, secured transporters, and dispensaries who have already been awarded licenses, including CRC of Alabama, Twisted Herb, Native Black Cultivation, Organic Harvest Lab, CCS of Alabama, and Alabama Secured Transport. If the Commission grants us an integrated license and a need arises for us to utilize these relationships, we will be looking to do business with these other licenses because we know them and they know us. Now I just want to end with 2 other quick things about Gemstone's operations. First, Gemstone is committed to going anywhere in the state of Alabama that the Commission would like us to go to ensure product is available at a statewide footprint. If you would like us to move a dispensing site from an overserved area and into an area of the state that is underserved, we would be more than happy to do so at your instruction. Second, as we talked about earlier, we have the most relevant experience of any other applicant because we have actually constructed and are currently operating an integrated facility in Florida, the Flowery. We want you to see this for yourself, what a facility looks like, actually operating in real life. So without further ado, I'd like to present your attention to the video of the Flowery.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Philip Howard. I'm the Vice President for Development at Tuskegee. It's our pleasure to be here today, and I want to keep one number in mind for you all. I know you've heard lots of numbers this afternoon, and you'll do so throughout the remainder of this week, I'm sure. That number is 131. 131 is the number of years that Tuskegee University has been in the healthcare space. It was 1892 when Tuskegee began the only nursing program in the state of Alabama. The only nursing program in the state of Alabama. Since that time, we've been in the healthcare space. We've been on the front lines of battling diseases that hurt Alabamians, whether it's influenza, polio or tuberculosis in the 20th century, or cancer, PTSD, and other treatments or other diseases in the 21st century, that's where Tuskegee plays, that's where Tuskegee does well. And we've got the track record to prove or to substantiate that this is our space. We didn't come to this lately. We've been in it for 131 years. It's what we do as part of our mission here as fellow Alabamians. And so we haven't done the kind of successes that we've had in the past by ourselves. We partnered with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the March of Dimes, the CDC, and others. And so we have been in partnership with world-class organizations throughout our times of really ameliorating and addressing these issues. Our partnership with Gemstone is no different, and it's why we actually chose Gemstone. We've had several firms come to us over the last 2.5 years to want to partner with us for all the reasons I've just mentioned, but we chose Gemstone for a couple of particular reasons. Sure, it has the expertise. We've talked about our capabilities on the operating side, the marketing, all those kinds of things, the financial capacity that we have. We chose Gemstone because we found a partner who shared our commitment to improving healthcare outcomes just like we do for our fellow Alabamians. And that was distinctive to us. We know of our commitment, of their commitment to what we're trying to do, what the Mazels want to do, and with the team that we've assembled here. We have a shared sense of purpose that we believe will drive outcomes that will even increase the kind of outcomes that the legislation envisioned so long ago. And so we believe that we're a perfect partner in that sense, that we provide the business expertise, the research, the education, and the commitment to this state to see Alabamians' healthcare outcomes improve that is unmatched by any of the other applicants. Thank you for hearing us today. Please remember that number, 131. It's a number that's significant. We're not going anywhere. Gemstone isn't going anywhere. We're going to make sure that the decision you make in our favor will be able to help improve the healthcare outcomes for Alabamians in the decades to come. Thank you so much.
I'll give you one more number in addition to Phillips to close us out, and it's 1. You have 1 candidate for an integrated application before you among this pool of applicants whose Alabama ownership team actually has operated and has been awarded an integrated license and is using that license in another state. 1. We're the unicorn candidate. Alabama owned, over 70%. Alabama experience in operating medical cannabis facilities in multiple states. Alabama regulated for almost 3 centuries. A majority female-owned company. Probably the strongest capital structure among any candidate you'll see. We've never sold a license. We're not selling a license. You've heard it from Ms. Mazel herself. This is personal. This is about her state. It is personal to her. We're in it for the long term. And you don't have to take our word for it. You can see our track record. We've done this. We've got this. We'll make you proud. Thank you. I'll ask the entire team to come up here, and if the commission has questions for us, we'll be happy to answer those. So,
won't you just wait, and as anyone has a question, that way everybody hasn't got to.
I like my army up here.
There you go. Well, you got an army, but I tell you what, won't you just wait? If anyone has a question from the commission member they want to direct to an individual, why don't we do that way? So, Mr. Harwell.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question for John Williams and Brandon Stokely. What kind of facilities will y'all be using?
It'll be indoor.
Y'all want to come to the, are they indoors or in a greenhouse?
Indoor facilities.
Brett set some of these up already.
Yeah,
So you can answer this a little
I can help a little bit with this. We are not growing in greenhouses here in Alabama. I've experienced growing in greenhouses in Tennessee and had a lot of trouble with wet wall, rudimentary greenhouses, and mold. We are also looking for a higher quality product in solventless material. In order to grow that, we need our environmental controls very specific. We have to grow really high-end product if we're not going to be remediating it via ethanol. So we're going to be growing indoors.
Okay. Are those facilities already ready to go? Or
we, like others, have pods ready to go. So unfortunately, these facilities do take a little bit of time to build and are very, very capital intensive. We have cultivated in pods at the Flowery in Florida. That is how we started our operations down there. So we are experienced. We have already purchased and ordered the pods. They're ready to be delivered. They're ready to be delivered in June. They're ready to be delivered now. So we are, our facility is ready. Our security is ready. We are fenced and we have cameras and we already own the facility it's going to be in.
Different than growing ornamentals.
That's a little different. It's a little different. That's the one I've never grown.
Thank you, Mr. Harwell. Anybody else got a question? Any commission member? Anybody online? Dr. Blakemore, got anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead,
Chairman,
Dr. Blakemore.
I got a few questions. First off, you guys are to be commended that you have that relationship with Tuskegee. Personally, I've gone to a few institutions that I've previously been affiliated with, and they all shut the door in my face when it came to cannabis. For Tuskegee, are you guys planning on offering any college credit for students that want to learn about cannabis?
Yes, sir. We already have an agribusiness program that's online in our College of Agriculture, Environment, and Nutrition Sciences. We plan to, as we come online with our partners, to work with even having some of our business students be able to work with the facility as internships become available.
Thank you, Ms. Morris. Is that right, Ms. Morris? I'm sorry. Thank you. Go ahead, Sam.
And then in reviewing your application, a lot of times when you guys are speaking, a lot of us commission members are sitting there reviewing, going through your application as it was submitted to us. I saw that you guys have facilities in Colorado, Florida, California, and Delaware. Which one of those states pretty much mimics what you guys want to do here in the state of Alabama? And how will that help you guys facilitate operationally here in our state?
Well, really, there's no state that is exactly like Alabama. Alabama is very unique to me, coming from Alabama and operating in these other states. We really need a higher level or just a really to understand that we're bringing a new product to a new market. I would say the one that is most similar to us is Florida, especially before Florida was allowing smokable flower. In the early days, Florida was very similar to Alabama in a limited amount of products that you're allowed to provide, and smokable flower was not one of them. And so I would say that our experience in Florida has prepared us to be able to make any of the products that are available for Alabama currently. And that would probably be our license that is most similar to Alabama, but honestly, Alabama is pretty unique in this space.
Can you follow that up with the initial products that you offered in Florida? And were those products pharmaceutical grade in nature?
Yes, they were pharmaceutical grade and they were GMP. It was mostly tinctures. It was really mostly in Florida. The first products you were allowed to give were tinctures, which is the oil, basically the raw oil.
And then the last question I'll ask you, with what you did in Florida, how did you guys handle diversion? Did you have any standard operating procedures related to that?
Oh, absolutely. And that is what Metric is also very good for. Honestly, we really haven't had any issues with diversion. A lot of that can be solved in good hiring practices, and then also by not overproducing and not trying to create an incentive for anything like that. So we haven't had any issues with it. The seed to sale tracking system tends to do its job pretty well. We do inventory audits weekly. We also have outside auditors come in and check our books as well as our inventory. So it really hasn't been an issue with diversion.
Thank you. And just to follow that up, you guys have a plan to contact AMCC in case you have any diversion?
Oh, absolutely, yes. We'll be contacting the police, and we have a very specific plan in our application that details the exact steps that we take if there is any sort of issue with theft, diversion, or anything. It also shows the line of command that we have throughout our company and who would be responsible in relaying that information up the chain, exactly who it goes to, and their exact responsibility to do with it once they receive that information.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Blakemore.
Just a follow-up to that little conversation.
Go ahead, Dr.
So now that you have flower, what % of your market is that?
Depends on which state.
Florida.
In Florida, it's over 50% currently.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, I take that back. In Florida, flower right now is only about 35%, but it is another product that Alabama is not currently.
Yeah, and how long have you had flower approved?
In Florida? 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Sorry, off the cuff. I don't remember the exact date, but I think it's real.
And what do you expect the cost for the patient to be on a monthly basis, roughly?
On a monthly basis, most of our products range between, or all of our products range between $40 and $100 a piece. So it really depends on how much milligrams they're taking. As a patient begins in the program, they tend to get accustomed to the medicine and they have to increase their milligrams a little bit over time. So that can increase the cost there to the patient. We are giving 10% discounts to veterans, as well looking at other ways to make this more affordable for Alabamians in the long term.
Okay. Let me see. So you have roughly, when you submitted the original application, between 217 and 294 days for dispensing sites. Do you still see that as accurate?
It depends on the dispensing site. That is one of our dispensing sites that is built from ground up. That is just raw land right now. We do have 3 dispensing sites that are already built, and we can get those operational much faster.
Okay.
Dr. Harvey, I know you had a question.
Well, actually, I just had a comment because I'm the newest member of the commission, and I think the rest of the commission knows as a physician, I've been reading through all this and wondering about what are the real indications for THC or marijuana in medicine. And when I was reading the y'all's application over the weekend and I saw the radical science part of it, that was the most unique thing I've seen so far. And I've got about 6 more to read between now and next and Friday. But it's it is so needed, and it's just this is the first thing I've seen that's really separated one of the applicants from all the rest of them in one particular area, with a very important area, though.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. We're very passionate about the research in this product and what it can do.
You mentioned your couple different processes.
Yes, sir.
Solvent and solventless. Why do you do both? What preference?
Well, we do both because whenever certain products are easier to make solventless with the type of oil that comes out of it. It's a different viscosity to it in some cases. We personally like solventless better because it is a more readily effective product. You're not using solvents, better efficacy. Some say it's hard to really hone in on that if that's true or not, but we personally believe that it is a safer, more effective product when you're using solventless. It also requires you to grow in a higher standard because you're not remediating product through ethanol. We do have an ethanol extraction machine that we will be utilizing, and we will be running some of our products via ethanol as well. Certain products that are not quite as easy to make with a solventless, such as the atomizer and things of that nature. It's just hard to get the viscosity down in solventless to be able to put it in the atomizer.
Me to understand, solventless means what? CO2, butane?
No, water, cold water. We're actually doing this in negative 40-degree rooms with Parkazon and separating the trichomes from the plant matter via sifts and other proprietary technique. Sometimes it's not even using water. It's either, but at most, solventless means water. Using water as your...
So you're basically either ethanol or this...
Not using ethanol at all. We're basically taking the plant matter.
Well, I thought you said you're using some ethanol.
Oh, yes, sir. Those are different products. So
right.
Ethanol and solventless will be 2 completely separate processes.
So no CO2 or butane?
No, sir. We are not planning on using CO2. We have experience with CO2 and can. The yields tend to be a little bit less. That's why we didn't choose it.
Okay. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jensen. Some of the questions that y'all are getting, like Dr. Harvey's an oncologist, so it comes from his perspective of watching patients he's dealt with, and of course, Dr. Jensen is a biochemist, so we've all got a different perspective on things. I've got a question for Ms. Pauley. You having familiarity with the Hudson Alpha Institute, do you think that they will ever get to the point that they are doing research with medical cannabis on patients?
That would be really exciting. They do have an agriculture-based campus that they've just opened down in the Dothan area. So expanding across the state, they've done a great job in terms of education about genetics and biotechnology. And they do have a clinic that focuses on rare genomic disorders with the Smith Family Clinic. So I see it as a natural segue for Hudson Alpha to be able to provide a level of education and clinical support for medical cannabis.
You mentioned radical science?
Yes.
What were you referring to?
I am the Chief Research Officer for Radical Science.
And what is their mission or corporate?
Yeah, sure. So Radical Science is a health technology company whose mission is to really change the paradigm of healthcare and bring natural products like medical cannabis back into the forefront of medicine as it was over a century ago. And in doing so, we do direct-to-consumer studies on health and wellness products. Like I mentioned earlier, I've done research with over 20,000 participants across the United States on cannabinoid products. And this last half have just been on the general health and wellness market to provide valid scientific evidence and data for using and selecting those products. First and foremost, make sure that those products are clean and that they have gone through a QC process that meets the USP standards as recommended by the FDA and the FTC for product purity and safety of non-sterile health and wellness supplements and food additives.
Gee, you need to get into all those herbal supplements.
Yes, that's exactly. And I've had many a conversation with very large retail brands that their product failed my QC and I would not be using their product in a study.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Paul. You might be a great liaison for the Hudson Alpha Initiative. Thank you for the answer. Anyone else have a question or a comment?
Chairman, this is Dr. Solinsky. Can you guys hear me?
Who is speaking?
Dr. Solinsky.
Dr. Solinsky, go ahead. We can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll hold on a second.
That's better.
I was interested in the discussion about not using greenhouses. And I just wanted to hear a little bit more about, because obviously we've had quite a few people experience about what happened and why they moved away from those, if he doesn't mind.
Sure. I think I understood your question. You were saying you have a numerous amount of people looking to grow in greenhouses here in Alabama, and you're wondering why we had problems with it. Well, most of the state of Florida also had problems with it, too. If you've noticed, a lot of them started out in greenhouses and moved away from it. Us in particular, we're growing with a company named Beyond Hemp in Tennessee. We had around 50 of these, they're greenhouses like you would see at Stokely Nursery, like they're growing in now. Like a lot of these people are saying they can grow in from day one. Basically, we had the company, before we invested in them, had hired a consultant from California who had explained to them that they needed to construct greenhouses with wet walls using humidity to lower the temperature in the greenhouse. What they didn't realize was cannabis can be very susceptible to aspergillus and botrytis in high humidity environments. So as they're trying to lower their temperature with humidity, they were just growing mold. Within 6 months, we had taken the wet walls out of every single one of those greenhouses, and within 2 years, that company is now a regenerative farm, not producing cannabis. So making a mistake like that can cost you very much in the long run.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Solinsky. Anybody else have a question? Great presentation by the Gemstone folks. We appreciate all of you coming today and bringing the entire Army. Good luck for an LLC. Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate your time today. Before our commission dismisses, we've got a little bit of time left. I'm going to ask Mr. Justin Aday why we have time, and that way we'll have this this one item out of the way, to go ahead and go over the 8 other applicants who have decided to not make presentations this week. So Justin, go ahead and make the appropriate comments pertaining to each one. I think it's about 8 of them. Is that right, Justin?
Yes, sir. First of all, I would remind you, as we've previously communicated to you, we do have 2 integrated facility applicants who withdrew their application, and they will not be considered for a license. That is applicant number 1647, Good Day Farm, Alabama LLC, and applicant number 1669, Alabloom LLC. So those applicants have withdrawn their application. They will not be considered. We also had 8 other integrated facility applicants who their application is still under consideration for license, but they did not request to make a presentation. You have their full applications, and I'll go through them one by one. You also have their applicant summaries, and that was included in printed format as well in your materials today. But those are 1625 Southeastern Medical Wellness LLC. You have their application, you have the applicant summary. The applicant received a pass-fail show cause notice and provided a response, and that response is included in the materials that you've been provided. Applicant 1634, Beneficial LLC. You have the full application and the applicant summary, and there were no pass-fail notations on that application. Applicant number 1636, Evexia Plus LLC. You have that application and the applicant summary, and there were no pass-fail notations on the application. Applicant number 1650, Alabama Medical Grow LLC. You have that full application and applicant summary. There was pass-fail items noted, pass-fail show cause notice was sent, and the applicant provided a response, and that response is included in your materials. Applicant number 1651, ML Jemison Properties LLC. You have the application and the applicant summary. There were pass-fail items. They were sent a pass-fail show cause notice, and we did not receive a pass-fail show cause response from the applicant. Applicant number 1685, ChromaCan Health LLC. You have the full application, the applicant summary, and there were no pass-fail items noted. Applicant number 1695, Greenleaf Farm Incorporated. You have the full application and the applicant summary. ETS Holdings LLC, applicant number 1703. You have the full application, the applicant summary. They did receive a pass-fail show cause notice, and we did not receive a response from them on that. And that is the 8 who did not request a presentation, but are still under consideration.
Thank you, Justin. Any commissioners have any questions pertaining to those applicants? Tomorrow morning, we have starting tomorrow morning, we have 8 more tomorrow for the 6th, but any questions before we have a motion to recess? If not, do we have a motion to recess until tomorrow morning, December 6th at 8:30 a.m. in this same room? Got a motion from Mr. Harwell, second from Dr. Harvey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 3:48. Recessed, excuse me.